I'm Harrison Graham. Here's what's on the docket for today's episode of Chicago Bears Now. Is a favorite emerging for the Bears offensive line coach? We'll dive into that. Also, the Bears have been linked to this defensive lineman. Who could that be? And some ex-Bears staffers landing in new places. Want to get you caught up on that news as well, as it is a busy Monday in the NFL. Thank you guys so much. We crossed 115,000 subs over the weekend. We're almost halfway to 116,000. Hit that sub button. Turn on notifications. We got you guys covered. During the AFC Championship game, we broke down the Dennis Allen, Declan Doyle, Richard Hightower news. So keep rocking and rolling with us, and we will continue to pump out content for free. Okay, is this man right here going to be the next offensive line coach? I'm talking about Dan Roushar, as he is the current offensive line coach for the Tulane Green Wave. And you're probably saying, Harrison, Tulane's offensive line coach? Well, this guy's been around the block. Look at his coaching history. He was coaching the Butler Bulldogs in the 1980s, of all places, where he had several titles, including the OC and O-line coach at one point. He was the Rhode Island offensive line coach, Ball State OC and quarterbacks, Illinois quarterbacks, tight ends, local ties there with NIU as well, where he coached the offensive line. He was the OC and the quarterbacks coach at one point. Back to Illinois, coaching the running backs and offensive coordinator. Cincinnati's offensive line coach. Michigan State O-line, OC, tight ends. Saints running backs, tight ends, and offensive line. And then the Tulane offensive line coach currently as well. He's been coaching for 39 years, both collegiately and in the NFL. 20 of those 39 has been spent as an offensive line coach. And once again, you look at that Saints tenure, you've got the Sean Payton and Dan Campbell connection. What did we talk about this morning with Declan Doyle? He's worked under Sean Payton and Dan Campbell. Like, there seems to be some connections here that Ben Johnson is leaning on when it comes to these staff hires as he's building out his coaching staff. Now, there are two other names I want you guys to keep in mind when it comes to this opening, to this offensive line coach. Joe Philbin, longtime O-line coach, had a head coaching opportunity with the Dolphins several years ago. It didn't work out, but considered one of the best O-line coaches. He was with the Raiders this past year, and with Pete Carroll there now, we'll see if he's retained or not. Mike Munchak, same deal, Titans O-line coach for a while. They made him their head coach after like 15 years. Didn't work out. He was, I think, just like a consultant for the Rams this past year. All three of these guys in their 60s. So you're talking about seasoned, experienced offensive line coaches. And I think it's pretty clear this is by far the most important hire left. You've got your coordinators in place. Ben Johnson's got a couple of his guys from Detroit on board when you're talking about J.T. Barrett and Antoine Randall. Getting the offensive line coach hire is critical because the guys you have so far, I feel pretty good about. Declan Doyle, obviously a bit of a wild card, 28 years old, but you've got the Sean Payton, Dan Campbell history there as well. We'll see how the rest of the staff is filled out. I think if you nail the offensive line coach, you feel pretty good about your core group of coaches. Then obviously you'll continue to fill out from there. But this is easily, in my opinion, based on what we've seen in recent years, the most important hire left. You've got to get a badass offensive line coach on this coaching staff. And quite frankly, I think if you get any of these three guys with their experience, I'd feel pretty good about it. Grade the Bears coaching staff so far. You can use pluses and minuses as well. A, B, C, D, or F. How do you feel overall? I'm in that B+, A-. I feel great about the head coach, great about the defensive coordinator. That's going to carry more weight than anything else. OC and Doyle, non-play caller, so lower leverage, but still an important one. It's a risk at 28, but there is precedent. We talked about that in our morning video on Monday. Go check that out. And I like all the other assistant hires with Al Harris, J.T. Barrett, and Antoine Randall. A, B, C, D, or F, grade the hires so far. Okay, coming up, the Bears have been linked to this free agent pass rusher. Could the Bears end up signing this player? We will dive into that here in just a moment. But first, do want to tell you guys about our friends over at Game Time, the best place to get tickets for a sporting event, concert, comedy show, or anything else that requires digital tickets is Game Time. Download the app today. Use our promo code ChatSports to get $20 off your first purchase only. Terms apply when you create an account. It's going to get you $20 off your first purchase only. Whether you're going to a concert, a comedy show, sporting event, hell, Disney on Ice is in Chicago this week on January 30th. Perfect place to take your kids if you have any kids out there and get into the lower level for $50 right now, which is an absolutely fantastic deal. Get your tickets today. And by the way, last-minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed. If you wait closer and closer to Thursday, might even get a better price. Would encourage you to do that. Use their feature Game Time Picks, which will filter out the fluff of thousands of tickets, narrow down your search, and you'll be able to find something within your price range and budget. Views from the seats, last-minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed. Tons of benefits to buying your tickets with Game Time. So what are you waiting for? Like I said, download the app, use the code ChatSports, $20 off, first purchase only, terms apply. Link is in the comments and in the description to download the Game Time app today. Code ChatSports, $20 off. Okay, Malcolm Koonce is the free agent that PFF has linked to the Chicago Bears, the defensive end with Las Vegas, who did miss all of this past season. So that is noteworthy. Had a season-ending knee injury in August, didn't play, which was pretty brutal for Vegas and for Koonce especially. Contract year, coming off a career year in 2023 when he had 8 sacks and really finished that year strong. Only had 2 sacks in his first 2 years. So you're kind of talking about a guy in 4 seasons. He's missed 1 full year, has had 1 really good year in 2 years where he didn't really do much. So that is noteworthy when you kind of look at the full evaluation here. Obviously, when you look at the Bears' defensive line here, you've got to beef it up a little bit, right? I expect Montez Sweat to bounce back. He's the type of defensive end Dennis Allen likes: big, strong, lengthy guy, defensive end. So I think that'll be a good fit. Javon Dexter has good traits as well. I think Allen will like that. Billings getting him back and healthy will be huge also. But you need more. You need more depth. Ideally, you get a better starter than DeMarcus Walker opposite of Montez Sweat. Now, here's where I pause a little bit. PFF is projecting that Malcolm Koonce will get 2 years, $37.5 million, $18.75 million per year with $20 million guaranteed. Now, it's basically just a 1+1, so it's not like the end-all, be-all, but almost $20 million per year for a guy coming off an injury, for a guy who's kind of a one-hit wonder. He's also listed at 6'2", 250. Is that a fit for Dennis Allen? I'm not sure. Feels a little pricey. It feels a little pricey for Malcolm Koonce coming off an injury. And look, these are just projections from PFF. I like the player. If it was a smaller number, I certainly would be interested. But I guess I'll just ask you guys, would you give Malcolm Koonce $18 million a year on a multi-year deal? Type Y for yes, type in for no. I think I'd have to type my in for no. I think I'd rather go in a different direction here. But what say you? Give us your thoughts in the comments section. Okay. Hit that subscribe button. Turn on notifications as we continue to bring you coverage here on Chicago Bears. Now, a couple of coaching notes. Matt Eberflus, sounds like this could be done any second. Might even be done by the time some of you guys are watching this, as plenty of reports that ignore the text on screen, by the way. Plenty of reports that Eberflus is going to be the next defensive coordinator for the Cowboys. He's interviewing on Monday for that position, and it was reported like 3 days ago when it was announced that Brian Schottenheimer was going to be their head coach, that Flus is basically the guy. So stay on top of that. He's probably going to bring some assistants too. A couple other guys interviewed for the DC gig as well, including Andre Curtis. Thomas Brown has landed in New England. He is their pass game coordinator and tight ends coach. So we'll continue to kind of monitor guys who are leaving as well and see where they end up. But pretty clear that other than Richard Hightower, I don't really expect many, if any, more coaches to be retained on this coaching staff. But it is kind of funny that the Cowboys are going to roll with a Brian Schottenheimer, Matt Eberflus combo. I think Flus will be fine as the DC there, but it's just it's very, very interesting. And I wish Thomas Brown well in New England. Be interesting to see how big his role is on that Drake May offensive coaching staff. Okay, that'll do it for this episode of Chicago Bears Now. Again, hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications. We will continue to plug out content here on a daily basis. My name is Harrison Graham. Shout out to all of you guys for tuning in to Chicago Bears Now.